the most important thing in wildlife photography is patience. Not correct. Well, not entirely correct. Yes, while we wildlife photographers sometimes wait for hours, if not days, to capture an image, which makes patience a part of the equation, to me, it is not the most important thing. To me, the secret ingredient to truly great wildlife photography, the one thing that trumps patience, gear, and even knowledge of animal behavior, is this. But before I tell you what the magic ingredient is, the thing that wildlife photographers should really be focusing on, I'll need to share a bit of background information. You see, wildlife photographers can generally be grouped into two categories: the documentarians and the artists. And while it's possible to be a mix of both, most photographers naturally lean toward one side. Documentarians, as the name suggests, focus on documentation. Their goal might be to build a photographic Pokédex of species, or capture rare or unique behaviors, or track down the most elusive animals. For them, it's all about the subject. The animal itself takes center stage, with less emphasis on the artistic quality of the photo. Artists, on the other hand, prioritize creating visually stunning images. It might be a common animal or a familiar behavior, but their approach transforms it into something extraordinary, crafting a piece of art, something that stops people in their tracks and makes them stare at the photo. In today's video, we're focusing on the artist. Specifically, we'll dive into the most important element for creating breathtaking, artistic wildlife photographs. But before we dive in, for those of you new to my channel, my name is Terrence and I have been a wildlife photographer for the past 10 years. I am also a Nikon ambassador and have worked with many other brands over the years to create content around wildlife photography. So, the secret ingredient, what is it? For me, it's light. Light is the essence of photography. It's not just important, it's everything. In every genre, from wildlife to portraiture, landscape to street photography, light shapes the way we see and interpret an image. Photography at its core is the art of capturing light and shadow, using them to create depth, texture, mood, and emotion. Without light, there is no image, only darkness. The interplay of light and shadow defines forms, reveals details, and guides the viewer's eye through a composition. Whether it's the soft golden light of sunrise, the harsh contrast of the midday sun, or the moody glow of artificial lighting, the quality and direction of light determine the atmosphere and impact of a photo. Understanding and mastering light is not just a skill, it is the foundation of photography itself. So, back to wildlife photography and how light is really the one key ingredient to a great photo. The quality of light, whether it's soft and diffused during golden hour or harsh and dramatic at midday, has a profound impact on the mood of your photo. In wildlife photography, light can evoke a sense of mystery, serenity, or even raw power. Imagine a lion silhouette against a fiery orange sunset versus the same lion shot under flat, overcast light. The former tells a story, the latter is just a record. For budding wildlife photographers, this means paying attention to the time of day and weather conditions to harness the mood-enhancing power of light. Without light, there is no photo. The way light falls on your subject highlights textures, shapes, and details that bring your image to life. A bird's iridescent feathers look dull in poor light, but sparkle when the light hits them just right. By understanding how light interacts with your subject, you can showcase the unique characteristics of the animals that you photograph. This is a learning point for beginners. Don't just focus on the animal, study how the light is hitting it. Great wildlife photos often have a three-dimensional quality to them, and that's achieved through light. Side lighting, for example, creates shadows that give your subject depth and make it pop out from the background. Front lighting can highlight details, while backlighting can create stunning silhouettes or halo effects. For new photographers, experimenting with different directions of light can elevate your compositions and make your images stand out. Wildlife photography is unpredictable, and so is light. But that's what makes it so exciting. The way light changes throughout the day, and even minute by minute, can completely alter a scene. A misty morning with soft light creates an ethereal vibe, while a sudden burst of sunlight through the clouds can add drama and intensity. Learning to adapt to changing light conditions is a crucial skill for wildlife photographers. It teaches you to think on your feet and make the most of what nature gives you. You don't need the most expensive camera or the longest lens to capture stunning wildlife images. If you know how to use light, you can create magic with even the simplest equipment. A beautifully lit photo taken with a modest camera will always outshine a poorly lit one taken with the latest gear. For budding wildlife photographers, this is an empowering realization. Mastering light is far more valuable than upgrading your gear. So, this begs the question, how do you use light effectively in wildlife photography? Here are some tips I've gathered over the years on how to utilize and understand light. Shoot during golden hour. The first hour after sunrise and the last hour before sunset offer soft, warm light that's perfect for wildlife photography. This is when shadows are longer, colors are richer, and the light is the most flattering. Pay attention to direction. Study how the light falls on your subject and adjust your position accordingly. Move around if you need to. Don't be afraid to chase the light. Understand the different kinds of light directions, from front light to side light to back light, and even those at an angle. What they convey in terms of emotion. Embrace backlighting. Use backlighting to create dramatic silhouettes or to highlight fine details like fur or feathers. By far, one of my favorite lighting techniques, though not direct backlight, but usually rather at a slight angle. Backlight may be tricky on exposure, but mastering it will give you that 3D pop for the animal that you are photographing. Use shadows creatively. Shadows aren't always a bad thing. They can add depth and mystery to your images if used thoughtfully. Understand that not everything in your image has to be lit, and that shadow creates dimensions. Shadows in your image draws the viewer away from the part of the image towards the part that is lit, and that can be a way to direct viewers' attention as well. Practice in all conditions. Don't limit yourself to perfect light. Practice shooting in different lighting conditions to understand how to work with and sometimes around the available light. Review your images afterwards and compare with other photos that you've taken in different lighting conditions. Think about what you like and don't like about the lighting, and perhaps what is the ideal lighting scenario you wish you had for your shot. This is the only way to see light, and once you start seeing light, you cannot unsee it. Light is the universal language of photography, transcending genres and gear. In wildlife photography, it's the key to unlocking the full potential of your images. So the next time you head out with your camera, don't just wait for the perfect moment or the rarest animal. Look for the light and let it guide your creativity. Because in the end, the magic of wildlife photography isn't just about patience. It's about capturing the extraordinary way light interacts with the natural world. But then, what would light be if you did not know how to compose your images? To learn about composition in wildlife photography, click this video right here.